there are certain things that even though they are not typically considered part of cooking, since they speed up the cooking process, they are also not allowed to be done on Shabbos. I'm going to give you 5 examples, although there are more. Firstly, moving a pot to a hotter place on the stove. If you move it from a place which was colder, and you move it to a hotter place, that speeds up the cooking process and therefore is not allowed on Shabbat. Likewise, returning a pot to the stove, as long as, once again, the food is ready to be cooked more, as we discussed in a previous video. In any circumstance where returning the pot to the stove will make the food cook more, it is not allowed on Shabbat as well. Also, if you cover a pot which is already on the stove, but it's boiling and you cover it, everybody knows that this brings more heat into the pot and therefore is also considered cooking. Now, of course, if the food was already cooked, for example, maybe a cholent on Shabbat morning, once the food is already cooked, it's no longer considered cooking if you put the lid back on. However, if the food is not yet cooked, you're not allowed to cover the pot either. Also, stirring. If you stir something up that helps cook the food which was on top, it makes it cook quicker, and it, in general, improves the cooking process. And finally, closing an oven door. If you open the door to check if something was ready, but it was not yet ready, you may have a problem because you might not be able to close it. However, if you know the food was already cooked before when you open the oven, then under certain circumstances, you're allowed to close the oven door. Anyhow, these are 5 different ways that we can speed up the cooking process, and all of these 5 are prohibited on Shabbat.